Hey everyone, welcome back to Jay Knows Nothing, and I'm here to talk about the Bengals' upcoming game with the Browns and bring up some keys to victory for the Bengals to be able to overcome the Browns this time. Zach Taylor, he hasn't had any success against the Browns, matter of fact, since he became an NFL head coach. Coach Taylor is currently 1-6 in his coaching career versus the Browns ever since he became head coach back in 2019, replacing Marvin Lewis. And against Coach Kevin Stefanski of the Browns, he is 0-4. So here are some keys to victory that I see. I'm pretty sure a lot of you all see as well. But here are a few of my keys to victory. My first key to victory for the Bengals is to establish dominance in the trenches. Establish dominance on the front line, especially when Cleveland has the ball on offense. That offensive line has been one of the best in the league for the past few years, and they really do love to run the football. And they established their dominance on that front line with the power run blocking. And then especially when you have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt as the running backs, it really makes their job so easy to block for them. So that offensive line has always been able to push back our defensive line. So I mean, thankfully we've had DJ Reader. He's been playing very well these past few games since he came back from injury. It'll definitely be a plus to have him. So hopefully he will be able him along with B.J. Hill and Sam Hubbard and Hendrickson would be able to at least not get pushed back by that offensive line. Be able to play the run a lot better to free up the linebackers to make the plays. And Sam Hubbard, he plays the run defense pretty well as a defensive end. Make sure they're not able to go around the edges, go on the outside if they have to. Keep everything inside, so then the defense can compact the space for tackling lanes and be able to gang tackle as well. Also, speaking of Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, my next point is we have to tackle them well. We have to bring them down, and that is a tough task for anyone. That's like asking anybody to bring down Derrick Henry by themselves. Well, we did keep Derrick Henry in check. But Cleveland, it's just a whole different conversation there. They've always been able to, as I made from point number one, they always establish their dominance. The offensive line always does, and that really helps open the holes for Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt to run through. And then once you even run through them holes, they get past the linebackers, and now the secondary has to make the tackles. And bringing down Chubb and Hunt is no easy task. Every time it's always like multiple defenders having to bring them down. So yes, I mean, we definitely need Wilson and Jermaine Pratt to come in and make those tackles. We definitely need some good team tackling to happen against these great running backs. Point number 3, Jonah Williams and the offensive line. That last game on prime time, we saw Jonah Williams and the offensive line get whooped. Jonah Williams had probably the worst game of his career. I mean, I believe he gave up like 3 sacks. There was even a Browns defensive end that came off the bench and came and got in for one play and got a sack on him. Myles Garrett was just having his way. He was Burger King, just having his way with Jonah Williams. So we definitely need him to step up. We definitely need him to play his A game. Hopefully, at least we can manage Myles Garrett to at least keep him from pressuring the quarterback, at least between, I would say, about 5 to 7 pressures at least. Hard task. That's a tough task. And keep him to at least a half a sack. Or 1 sack is fine, but you know, he can't have multiple. He can't be in Burrow's face all game. But the great thing is, these past couple of games, they've been keeping Burrow for the most part clean. He's been sacked a couple times, but he's been able to, as I said in my last video, in my review against the Chiefs, he was able to sit back and just relax and go through his progressions. And so we definitely need that type of blocking from the offensive line to keep Myles Garrett and the boys at bay. Point number 4, no opening drive turnovers. The last game, Burrow threw an interception. I believe it was off of a tip pass. But even going back to last year, when the Bengals were blown out by the Browns 41-16 at home, on the opening drive, the Bengals had a nice drive going. They were down in the red zone towards near the goal line, and Burrow threw it out to Chase. Now, Jamar Chase had admitted that, well, he ran a crappy route. He should have slanted more on the inside to give more of a fake, so then Denzel Ward wouldn't necessarily already know where he was going. But then Denzel Ward was cut off the route and returned the intercepted the ball and returned it for 99 yards for a touchdown, which then gave the Browns an early 7-0 lead, and already the Bengals fell behind. If we're gonna have the ball first, we can't have an opening drive turnover. We at least gotta have an opening score, whether it be it's got to be a touchdown. A touchdown would be more desirable, or a field goal. We got to score on that opening drive. We cannot turn that ball over. And then my last point for the key to victory for the Bengals is to establish the run game. The last time the Bengals beat the Browns was December 12th, on the 29th in 2019. The Bengals beat the Browns 33-23, and that's when Zach Taylor's first year as NFL head coach. And the Bengals were 2-14 that year, but their second win was against the Browns that season. And in that game, now Andy Dalton was the quarterback, and Joe Mixon was the starter. Joe Mixon was the running back. Joe Mixon had 162 yards of rushing in that game. 162 yards. So to me, it brings back to the first point of establishing dominance in the trenches. Not only does that go for the defensive line, but that also goes for the offensive line. We definitely need the offensive line to open up those running lanes. You can run on the Browns, and that's one thing the Bengals have not had an opportunity to do. I would say we definitely need about 150 yards rushing to be successful in this game, especially at least over 100 in this game. So establishing the run is something that we really need to do. I mean, I get it. Burrow has been on a tear. He hasn't beaten the Browns himself. Joe Burrow is 0-4 against the Browns. To help take the pressure off of him is to run that ball. Run Mixon, run P. Ryan. Open up those running lanes. Now they have to think about the run. Play action will help to also keep them from predicting that it's always going to be a pass. So if we can establish that run game, I'm telling you, we could really take off. So I believe these are the key points, the 5 key points to a Bengals victory is to establish dominance in the trenches, tackle Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, Jonah Williams in the offensive line got to do much better, especially better than what they did before in prime time in the game before, where the Bengals were blown out 32-13. No opening drive turnovers, and establish the run game. Those are my 5 points. If you have anything to say about the game or anything to add as far as what the Bengals need to do in order to win this game, feel free to comment below. I appreciate you all for listening, for tuning in to Jay Knows Nothing. I see y'all next time. Peace and hoo day.